Hello there folks, thank you for joining me in this final video that I'm doing on A Wayfarer's Tale, a new roll and write game from James Emerson, illustrated by Tristan Rossin. This game is going to be on Kickstarter soon, and it's a print and play game that you can print out yourself at home. I'm playing through the solo campaign at the moment, but there is also a multiplayer version of the rules. This is the second playthrough video. If you haven't seen the first playthrough video, I'll put a link up here and in the description below. We're on map number 2 for this playthrough, and I'm already a little bit into it. I have got 6 towns that I need to locate, and I need to get my score up quite a bit in order to succeed at this scenario by getting a positive score. 3. Okay, alright, well we can easily put 3 down here at the bottom of this mountain for the adventurer. He allows us to go into mountain or jungle spaces. I'm probably going to be going down here, but I just want to check. Maybe I won't actually. On reflection, I want to go up here into this jungle space, which will also get me a shield, which is nice. Each shield allows you to re-roll a monster roll, so that would have been nice to have when I got this 6 here. And by the way, when I say it allows you to re-roll a monster roll, remember you only roll dice when you're dealing with monsters and treasure from the merchant, or when journeying with the merchant. All the other ones are fixed numbers and can't be re-rolled using these methods. So that gets me a little bit closer to getting up here towards this distant town. 4. Hey, that's alright. We can start off this mountain here with a 4 as we go up. We need to try and keep it moderately low because we don't want to lose too much on this monster here. But that that adventurer allows us to go into mountains or jungles. Yeah, I think we're just going to go down here. Gives us another shield, which is nice. I'm just very conscious that I'm nowhere near going down here yet, so I either need to come this way or I need to come down this way. One or the other. 5. Oh yeah, why not? Let's that's another mountain or jungle. Actually, it's not the best time for me to be using that, if I'm honest. Although it would be a good idea to get that tavern. Okay, alright, let's do it. But if I get the option to head down there towards that town, I'm going to sacrifice the tavern and do that. 6, 7, 8, 9. Got to remember to put 11 or more on that guide. Okay, well 9, I guess I will use the merchant, which will allow me to go into a grassland or desert. Well, look at that, I could use that boat, I'm assuming, to get over here. I haven't actually read the boat rules yet, but I would imagine it just allows you to travel through that space. No. Not so. I would need the sailor to do that, which makes sense really, I guess. So we're back to where we were. We've got a 9. Now I can't remember whether I've used that 9 already, if I'm going mad. No, I don't think I have. I know where I was, wasn't I? I was using the merchant. I realised I can't do that, so I've got to do something else. Let's head up this way. 8. So my options are to put the 8 in this spot at the top of this mountain, but that would give me 8 points of monster to contend with. I could use one of my merchant spots, but they are rapidly dwindling. But I think I should possibly do that anyway. So I'm going to use the merchant to desert or grassland. And I think I should probably start to head down this way. Eight again. So the thing is, this monster here, he's going to be activated by a 6, 7 8, 9, 10, 11 or 12. So 8 is actually not too bad. But is there any jungle I want to go into right now? I mean, there isn't really. No, there really isn't. So I could use him up here. Okay, I'm going to use him up here. I feel like that is high risk, but it will allow me to move into grassland, which will allow me to creep further down this way. Unbelievably, that's another 8. Or it could be a 10 if I use that yellow dice. Okay, alright, well maybe I won't use the yellow dice. I'll just allow an 8, which is going to give me a monster of value 8, which is kind of lame. But I can use the adventurer to travel further in this direction, getting me closer to this town that's all the way up here. 9. What I'm going to do is use my last precious available town to increase that to a 5, allowing me to activate the sailor. And then I'm just going to go straight down here, like so. So that gets me closer to this town. 11. Right. And I know that I need to use an 11 here to get so that I can more easily use these ones over here. So the guide allows me to go into a jungle or a desert location. I would imagine I've got one of those somewhere that I need to go to. Well, actually, it could get us down to that town. So let's do that. Keep it simple. Into that town. Gives me another town I can spend to adjust dice. I think I've just realised quite how many towns are down here. There's 3. And also I need to make sure I don't ignore this town up here. So I'm going to have to use this route here to go up there. 7. Don't like 7s. I remember this much. Well, no, actually, not too bad, because I can use the 7 here, because I want to keep these numbers quite close together. Hopefully I can get a 6 here, and I can get a 6-point treasure at the bottom of this mountain. So that allows me to move into a mountain space or a jungle space. And actually, that's good. I'm going to move up here into this jungle space. 6, 7, 8, 9. So my options are quite limited. I've got 1 available space, but it would include a monster on the merchant. Or I can increase the coachman by another spot to 9. Maybe I'll do that, because I know for certain there's some mountains I can go into. I'm going to do that. 9. Oh, grassland or mountains. Oh, well, let's go down here, because we need to start getting over into this area. 3. Oh, no, wait a minute, I could use it on the merchant. There we go. We'll use the 3 on the merchant for desert or grassland. It's a shame I can't come up here. We'll go over there. Or we could go into the desert here. Let's do that. And that gives me access to another tavern, which means I could theoretically take the coachman all the way to the top now, although I think it's very unlikely, because I can only use him on a roll of 9, 10, 11 or 12 going forward. Because I kind of boxed myself into a corner on that one. 3, that's not good at all. So my only options are to use it on the merchant, which would activate a monster and a treasure, or here, but I'd quite like a 4, 5 or a 6 to get just a little bit more value out of that treasure there. So I'm going to use the merchant, which means I've got to do a monster and a treasure. Let's start with the monster. 1. Brilliant. That's a bit of luck. And we want a nice big valuable treasure. 6. Yeah. Okay, that makes me feel a bit better about things. The merchant allows me to move into desert or grassland. I guess we'll just carry on pushing up here into that desert, but that also gives me a re-roll, which is nice. So I can now re-roll a merchant treasure roll if I so desire. Oh, 2. I could use that for the sailor, which would give me a monster, but it would only give me a monster of value 2, and it would unlock this treasure in the next box to potentially be got. Now there's nowhere that I really need to go to right now, but I could just go up there. That's not extending my journey over to this town at all, so it's kind of a pointless use on the map, but hopefully it will allow me to get a nice valuable treasure from the sailor in a future round. 10. And maybe that's going to be right now. Oh, I don't think there's any. Oh no, there is somewhere the sailor can be used. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do the sailor for 10, which is going to give me a treasure of 10, and that's going to be the sailor taking me out halfway along this ocean route here using this sailboat. And then if I wanted to complete it, I'd have to roll someone that could get me into grassland, but I can't do that anyway because I've already got a route going that way. So it's kind of a dead end, but it got me a 10-point treasure, which is really good. All these doubles. Double 1. What am I going to do with that? I can't re-roll my dice because I've only got 1 available town to use. So I think, much as it pains me, I'm going to have to put it down here, which gives me a puny 2 value treasure from the adventurer, but does allow me to go into jungle or mountains. And I desperately need to get up into this jungle here. And then once I get to that town in those mountains, I can then branch off into those other 2 towns that I desperately need to get to over there. 6. That's going to have to be a merchant, which gets me into desert or plains. I think that's going to have to be this desert up here, so now I'm only 1 hex away from this town. 7, don't like 7s. Do not like 7s. Because I can't use it on the merchant, can't use it on the coachman, can't use it on the sailor, can't use it on the guide. It's going to have to be the adventurer. Which means I get a 7 value monster, which is a bit of a disaster. And then there's a monster in the next one as well. So that's going to go to mountains or jungle. So at least that gets me up into this town here. Which means I've only got 4 towns to go. 1 there, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 over here. 7! Because I can't use it there, I can't use it there, I can't use it here, I can't use it here, and I can't use it here. So it's a misroll. I could use my towns to re-roll the dice, but you know what, I think I'm going to use it as a misroll. And you can only have 3 misrolls before the game is over. 9. Okay, so we can use that for the guide. That's good. She allows you to go into desert or jungle. So I think I should probably use that to go down here. 7. So I'm going to use the yellow dice instead. So I have to cross off a monster box. Remember, if all the monster boxes are filled, then the game is over. So that is an 8. And I'm going to use that to do the adventurer. Feels like an insane move, but that's what I'm going to do. But that gives me another monster, value of 8. But notice that this final treasure here is at times 2. So if I put a 12 in there, I'd get a treasure worth 24 points. And that's really what I want. Oh, hang on, I haven't done the actual move. So that allows me to go into mountains or jungle. I'm going to go into jungle. Gets me a reroll on a treasure. Nine. Well, that, if I put that there, that would get me 18 points. And maybe I should. Oh, or I could put it on the coachman, and that would not increase that too much. Yeah, let's do that. 9 there. So grassland or mountains. I've got a lot of mountains to deal with though. 6. Okay, yes, I can use that on the merchant, jungle or grassland. Ah, okay. Well, there you go. I can go up here to get this town here. 3 towns to go. Ooh, 11. Well, I would be a madman not to put the 11 there, but for the treasure I can double the value to 22. And that might be the one that turns this game around. Okay, so mountains or jungle. It's got to be mountains really. Down here to get this town. So we've got 2 towns to go. 8. Well, actually, I'm just going to use it here to go down this mountain. Allows me to use the adventurer to go into a mountain space. I'm going to do that to go down here, which gets me very close to this penultimate town. Five. Well, it's going to have to be this final adventurer spot, unfortunately. But that does get me up there into this location with that penultimate town, meaning that I've only got this town to go. 6, 7, 8. I need to get over here. So I could either come down here, which is quite far, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hexes, or from here, 1, 2, 3, 4 hexes, or from here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's very similar really. And this route has a greater variety of landscapes, terrain types, which means more different companions would be able to help me. So I might do that, which means I could do that, which would get me a monster and a treasure. So let's roll for the monster first. 5. I do not like that. Luckily I've got these shields which allow me to re-roll, so I'm going to use my first of my 2 available re-rolls. 6. No, I'm going to use my final re-roll. 2. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, then we're going to roll for the treasure. 6. Yeah. And now I need either a desert or a grassland. So I'm going to be coming down into this grassland here. 7, always with the 7s. So I could use, I've got quite a few towns available now, so I think I'm going to use 2 of my towns to re-roll. 4, 5, 6, 7, unbelievable. I could use my compass. Change the active dice to a number of your choice. What would I want? Maybe an 11 to use the merchant again? I've got to get past this monster though, that's the thing. I'm going to have to activate that monster to give me a couple more goes with the coachman. And I'm going to have to activate this monster to give me a couple more goes with the guide. And maybe the guide is the better one to focus on. So, maybe I don't need to use my compass. If I just... I've currently got 8. So if I use 1 town to decrease... No, it's not 8, is it? It's 7. There. Good maths there. So I shouldn't have crossed that one out. So I've got 3 available towns. I can put the 7 there, which would give me a 7 value monster. Notice I can at the moment only encounter 2 more monsters before the end of the game. I do have an item from the market that can change that a little bit. But for the time being, that is the case. The guide allows me to go into jungle or desert. And actually that doesn't help me. Okay, I'm going to have to stick to what I did, otherwise I'm going to start scribbling things out all over the place and just randomly journey down into that desert, because at least that gets me past that monster, and that I think is going to be very important. What I really need to do is get into this mountain space, and then I've got access to this desert and jungle route here. And so to do the mountain, at this point I've got to use the coachman. It's the only companion that's going to get me into mountains, which is going to get me another monster that's worth at least 9. 4, 5, 6. Right, okay, what I'm going to do is use my magic cloud, which cost me 10 points after another scenario. And that means I can mark a movement on my map without inputting a number. So a really powerful ability there. And I'm going to use that to move up into this mountain here. Now that I'm in that mountain, I'm going to use the roll that I just did to activate the guide. She allows me to move into desert. So I'm going to move up into this desert here. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I could use that. Oh, look at that. I could use that to activate the merchant, who gets me into desert or plains. But most importantly, that gives me a treasure, which is cool. So let's roll the treasure dice. 6. Fabulous. Alright, and when I'm moving into grassland or jungle, so I can move up into the jungle here. I'm almost at the final town. 6, 7, 8. I can use 8 to activate the guide. Thing is though, there's one final crystal there. Do I risk not going into the final town with a hope to getting that final crystal? I mean, I could, but that could be the one that loses me the game. Okay, I'm gonna finish it up. We're gonna go into the final town. There we go. And the objective of reaching all the towns is complete. So all that's left to do now is to add up my monster total, add up my treasure total, subtract the monster from the treasure and then subtract 50 50 from that, I don't think I'm gonna... Well, let's see, let's do the maths. So I can already see I'm not going to get a positive score here. I've got 85, take away 50 is 35, take away 41 gives me a final total of -6, I think. Oh dear. That's disappointing. Maybe I should have gone for that final crystal. So I can write the -6 here. So overall for my campaign, I'm on a total of 22. I think as long as you get a positive score, you win. But obviously you want to get a nice big score to really show your Wayfarer's Tale prowess. But that was brutal, having to take off 50 points. So it's obviously possible to get more points from treasures than I did on this one. But there you go. I enjoyed it anyway. Had a good explore of map number 2. I'm going to carry on, but not film, playing through the scenarios of the solo campaign. But I hope you enjoyed that. If it looks like a game that you would like to back on Kickstarter, I imagine it'll be a very affordable one since it's print and play. I will, as soon as I have a link to the Kickstarter, pop it in the description of this video. But thanks for coming along with me on this adventure. Please do subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more videos just like this one. Otherwise, I will see you next time. Bye bye.